Guys, welcome. It's Melanie Kennemann here in Austin, Texas at Market Center 1, where it all began. It is Friday. It's the first day of, actually, people say it feels like winter. I have a scarf on. Big storm blew in. It's very windy, and we are loving the colder weather. I don't know about you, but I love it because now it feels like October to me, and it feels like getting ready for seasons of change and what's ahead of us. So I asked, what's your dynamite? And if you're with me last week at the Northwest Market Center, you know what I'm talking about. And then I know Jen helped and covered with me for this week as well at the Southwest, and we did business planning. But when I say, what's your dynamite, I talk about what are you doing that's different from anyone else? What are you doing to make sure that you tap into the thing that you're the best at? Period, because there's only one you. And I think if you don't take time to think about that, then you'll never really have your maximum potential reached in your life. And so what does that look like to you? And for everybody, it's different. And again, October is our goal setting month, right? And so when my recommendation to everyone, no matter what, even if you've done your goals already for 2020, awesome job if you have. If you haven't, there's still time, and I have a couple tips for you that you can download and create a master plan in not a lot of time and just taking a day to really do that. But number one is, in 2019, what are 3 things that you are actually really, really proud that you accomplished? For some of you, it could be health goals. It could be I went on that dream vacation, or I paid for my son's college, or whatever that is. What's something that happened in 2019 that you're really proud of? And I think you should take a minute to write 3 things down. And then after you've done that, you'd say, okay, now what is one thing that I didn't do in 2019 that I wish I would have done, or that was important to me when I set my goals that I just never got around to for any reason, whatever reason that is. Either life got busy or whatever. But what's one thing that was important to you to achieve in 2019 and you have not even started it yet and not even looked at it? What is that? And then you look at that and you say, maybe it was lose 10 pounds, or start working out 3 days a week, or lead generate if you're in the real estate business. Lead generate, call 20 people a day, whatever that is for you. What got in your way? Now, I want you to look at that goal and say, is that still important to me? If that is still important to you, then you need to make that at the top of your list for 2020. That has to be in there, because we know people that write down their goals and then you add accountability into that, they make them happen at a much, much larger, like 3 times as much as people who don't. So number one, what have you done well? Celebrate your success in 2019. It's a busy world we live in, and we're moving and going at a very fast rate. So slow down enough so you can stop and say, wow, what are all the things? And if it's not just 3, maybe it's 10 things. What are the 10 things I did in 2019 that I'm incredibly proud of? Can be business related, can be personal, whatever you want that to be. But take time to celebrate that before you create that clean slate for 2020. That's an awesome way to do it. I think a lot of people that are in goal setting mode struggle with articulating what they even want to achieve. And you should always have personal, you should always have business, whatever business that is. We're in real estate at Keller Williams, right? So a great way to think about what do I really want to do is thinking about, why do I do what I do? And if you know your why, and if you have trouble finding your why, Simon Sinek has some great YouTube TED Talks and things like that, or books you can read. But it's really, what gets me up in the morning every single day? What gets me up? What motivates me? Why am I doing what I do? And the clearer you can be on that, and the more passion you can bring into it, the more rewarding it is and the more fun you have. Because again, our lives are built to create a life that we want to live, and not vice versa, right? So articulate, what is it that I really gets me going? What's my dynamite? What lights me up? What just sets me off so I can, achieve anything? What is that for you? Okay, so then you go to your someday goals. And if you download this kick-ass goal guide to goal setting, it's from a One Thing. So if you've read the One Thing, awesome book, read it again. But this is a great tool on kellerinc.com. There's a lot of free downloads. And this one is actually from the One Thing. And there's ones for couples. There's ones for accountability. This one's great for goal setting. And your goal setting tools should all be connected. So if you got the book like this, then you would start with your someday goals. And I'm going to turn to an example of what that looks like, because I printed one out here. So what are my long-term goals? So if you look at this, you have business and personal, someday, 5 years, 1 year. Because what I find is when I'm working with people and they take the lid off, you know, if anything, life was perfect, what do you want to achieve in this life of yours? What is it? You know, is it to have your own TV show? Is it to write a book? Is it a nonprofit to help kids? What is that thing? What were you put on earth to do? That should be on your someday goals. Could be 10 years from now, could be 20, could be 30. Well, no one knows how much time they have, guys. So you want to know what that is, because if you can figure that out now, it's going to tap into that dynamite inside you and lead you towards it. So start with someday goals, you know, maybe have a house on the water, travel, you know, to Europe once a year, whatever that is. Buy my son a house, pay for my parents' health care. What is that for you? You are different than anyone else out there. So what is yours? So think about business and personal and take time to do that. So print out a packet like this. It's such a great tool for you guys. Then you break it down to 5 years. So let's say your long-term goal was to, like one of my agents in the classroom said, to have college paid for before they go to school. So that would be her someday goal. So when they go to school, they're ready to go to college, she's got the cash in the bank, boom. So what would be a great 5-year goal for that? Have already started the account and have so much money. Like, do the math. How much is college going to cost? How many kids do you have? Do the math, break it down. What do you need per year to make that happen? And so in 5 years, how much money should be in that account already for college for that child of yours? So when they go to college, if that's your someday goal and you want to have it paid off and not have your child start with debt like most Americans in our world, what would that number be? Would it have $15,000 in the bank? Whatever the math is, do it. Make it real. Make it as real as possible. Then the 1 year goal. So let's just say $10,000 was the goal. $10,000 for my child's college, put away already in 5 years. So what would be a 1 year goal then? Have the account set up and then take a fifth of that and say and have, you know, $2,000 put aside for my child to go to college, which will support my 5 year goal, which will support my someday goal. So what is it for you? And this is what's very different about this kind of thing compared to New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. Nobody does those. Nobody does those because they do it on New Year's Eve and it sounds fun, it sounds great, and they've long forgotten it by the time February 1st rolls around, if they still remember. This is a gift to yourself. Now this might change over time, and that's okay, but you change with it and keep adapting, keep as connected to this as possible, because this will tap into your why and drive you and create things that you probably never thought you'd be able to create. So start with that before you start your planning, because that will get the lid off of your thinking and will help you really think big, and then you can work backwards and make sure all of this is part of your goal setting in 2020 and beyond, right? So the other thing I love about this packet is in here you also have something called the GPS. So if you know what your someday goals are and you break it down to your 5 year and then your 1 year, well, you better believe that your 1 year goal is going to be on this one, right? And this is the GPS, right? And so you're going to have your biggest goal on the top. So maybe like in real estate, let's say in real estate, you want to do 10 million in real estate sales. That could be something. I want to have $10 million in real estate sales. And then you could have a personal one too, where you say, and I'm going to have, you know, buy another investment property and have this much net worth, whatever that is for you. But it's one thing that's going to be your one thing for the year. And you can do this for multiple different kinds of things. Like I said, personal health, your relationships, whatever that is. If you have multiple businesses, do it for multiple businesses. And this is a tool anybody can use. This is downloadable to anybody because that's how Keller Williams works. So again, 1 year, you know, what's my biggest thing for the year? And then what would 3 priorities, 1, 2, and 3, because again, it's 1 goal, 3 priorities, 5 strategies for each priority. So 3 priorities that could help me reach my $10 million goal, for example, would be the first priority. Let's say I'm 50-50 business on listings and buyers. So my first priority could be 5 million in listings sold. My priority 2 could be 5 million in buyers, you know, buyer sides sold. And the third thing, I always like to make it like systems, leverage, growth. How am I going to grow to support all these things that will help me make that 10 million? In that, I could have like, hire an assistant or get a contracted close person by Q2 or whatever. And now the strategies underneath each of those support that priority. So if I had priority 1 was 5 million in listings sold for 2020, what are the things I can do, the strategies where I can measure them and put a by when date? What are those that I need to do and by when to make sure I hit that 5 million in listings sold for 2020? Would it be at a farm, open houses, target Facebook marketing, whatever that is for you? But think about it. You're designing your life. You are the architect of your future. I say that all the time. So this is a great tool. Again, start with someday, bring it down to 5 year to 1 year, and boom, it goes on here. Once you have your 135 or GPS, we call them both at Keller Williams. Once you have that established, then you can take it to another tool called the 411. The 411, we have lots of acronyms at Keller Williams. The 411, so the one I just showed you is like the one-page business plan. This is the make it happen week by week plan. So at the top, again, you have your annual goals, and you'll notice there's business and personal, right? Those all should align with your big goals long term, right? It's all connected. The more connected you make it, the more powerful it is. So again, you'd have your annual goals. So on business, it could be, again, that volume number. If my volume goal was $10 million, 5 million in listings, 5 million buyers, how much GCI, maybe build my team, whatever. And then personal could be pay off $20,000 credit card debt, buy an investment property, and take that dream vacation. Whatever that is for you, and say where it is. Turks and Caicos, Sandals Resort there, I would highly recommend for families, beaches. It's amazing. It's amazing. We went there for my 20-year wedding anniversary. Beautiful place. Then now your monthly one should support your annual, right? So if my goal was to close so many listings per month, then that's going to go on my business side for my monthly goal that support my annual. So all these should line up with these, right? It's all connected. 135 to the 411. This is what you keep in front of you every single week. And then you break it up per week, 1 week at a time, guys. Don't do all 4 weeks at a time. It doesn't make it real because you'll fill it out and you'll never look at it again. Do 1 week at a time. So this should be my annual, my monthly, and then just the week in front of me. And this should be your Sunday night homework where you sit and you do your thinking time and your thinking chair, if that's what you have, and say, what are my must-dos, my absolute must-dos for this week that I have to get done, that will support my monthly goals, that support my annual goals? What are those? And that's what gets on there. You can have other lists for the other stuff. This is the must-do, the most important, biggest impact decision makers for the week, right? And so this gives you something that you can look at every week. Now, the key to this is this awesome enough. If you get this far, awesome, way to go. The key is to have a great accountability partner that's willing to meet with you. So have a peer that you work with or whatever that you can meet with maybe every Friday morning. You can role play, work on scripts, whatever. Or if it's a health thing, a health person to work off of. But accountability is the key to everything. So having somebody to hold you able. I remember Susan Scott in Fierce Conversations. I got to hear her speak a couple times thanks to Keller Williams, different events I've been to. And she talks about holding someone able, right? You're holding someone able to their goals. You did not set these goals for someone else. And when someone else sets your goals, how committed are you to them? How's that working for you? If somebody says, here's your goals, this is what you're going to do in 2020. I don't know about you, but I'm that person that if I don't believe in the goal, if I'm not all bought in, it doesn't excite me. It's not fireworks for me. I need to have buy-in. I need to know the how and the why behind it, and then I'm all in. So make sure these are your goals, and you need somebody that's going to remind you about them, keep them top of mind. It doesn't take much. An accountability partner is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself in 2020. And the last part of this packet, it's a separate download from the one thing, but it's the 66-day challenge. And so what is one habit? We talk about like the 21, it takes 21 days to create your habit. Well, if you've read the one thing, you know that's not true, right? And everyone has a different level of how long it takes them, discipline-wise, to create a new habit. It's easy to do anything for 21 days. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier. 66 makes it a real new habit of yours. So maybe it's going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, exercising. Pick one thing, just one thing, and put your name at the top and date it and say, for the next 66 days, this is the habit I'm going to do. For me, it's, less social media and less email working at night. My goal is to cut it off at 9 p.m. I can do other things, but cut that off. And I've done it for 2 weeks. I had to send an email the night before for Bold, so I have to start over, because if you miss a day, you have to start over. But what is that for you? Go walking 3 times a week. Call your mom. I don't know, what is it? But think of a habit that would really make your world, that you'd feel better about yourself and could make a big impact. What is that? It could be, again, health, business, whatever. So you write that down, you make that commitment to yourself. So again, these are all downloadable here at theonething.com. It's with the one. And if you're not listening to the One Thing podcast, that's a great podcast to listen to. Wendy and Jay had a great one about couple goal setting. So doing this with your partner, and there's another packet for that, is very powerful, because again, you're designing your future, and the more you can design together, the more synergized you are and pulls you forward. And there's accountability ones, and there's all the 66-day challenge, all that is downloadable. Again, on Keller Inc., there's other downloads about the MREA and all of our other books and stuff as well. But Keller Wins is all about coming from contribution and helping everyone be the best versions of themselves possible. I know I ended all of these with talking about the rainbow eucalyptus tree. And if you're on my Facebook at all, you saw I posted the pictures if you just scroll up. But basically these trees, my husband showed me these a few years ago in Maui, and he said, you're going to love these trees. So we had to find out where some were and found them. And what I love about them is these trees, when they start out, they just look like any other tree. And the older they get, the bark starts peeling. And when it peels, all of a sudden these beautiful bright colors come into play. Orange, green, all kinds of beautiful colors. So actually the older the tree gets, the more beautiful it gets. And I believe that. And I fell in love with those trees. So anytime I get a chance to go see the rainbow eucalyptus, just Google it. That's amazing. We have to go find them and see them, because they inspire me so much, because I feel like we are like the rainbow eucalyptus. And the more authentic you are about who you are, the more in touch you are with why are you on this earth and what are you here to do. The more genuine you live, the more you attach everything together, the more purposeful you live. It's pretty powerful stuff, and you're way more capable of things than you could ever imagine. People get frustrated when things don't happen fast enough. We always say they underestimate what they can do in a year. They overestimate what they can do in 1 year, and they underestimate what can be done in 5. So I look at people that have built extraordinary empires and extraordinary businesses in less time than 5 years. But they did the right things and they had clarity. So what is that for you? So I hope this helped. I hope this helps somebody find clarity. Again, these are all downloadable. It's pretty incredible. I have one agent I was talking to today who's a commercial agent. He does a lot of big tenant representations for 17 square feet and up and things like that. And he told me yesterday he had a $337,000 day. It's a pretty good day. But all the things that led up to that is what got him there. So what are the things you're doing to align yourself with the kind of future you want to have for yourself? Because you get to choose. It's a choice. So I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. I hope this helps somebody, and I will see you all at the Austin Southwest soon.